Hi everyone, my name's Donkey and today we're back on the RTS project yet again. So in the last video I did say that we'd possibly go on and make some enemies, and that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So just a quick heads up, I made a sprite basic enemy which is literally identical, apart from I've changed the pinky colour, skin colour, to a red to indicate that they're an enemy. And then we're just gonna go ahead and make an object. I didn't do that earlier because I thought it wouldn't take very long. In fact though, no, we'll keep it separate. Normally what I would do here is, when I'm making an enemy, is I would copy the player over and then just adapt it slightly. But the key thing with this is that the player is based really heavily around mouse clicks rather than key inputs and stuff. And mouse clicks are really hard to simulate with an AI, so it's kind of easier to do it this way and make it your own. But we're definitely going to be stealing some bits of code over. For example, the step event is going to stay very much the same. In fact, like this thing here, we can pretty much copy this whole thing, I believe. I mean, this is kind of unimportant because this is like tile placement, so we're not going to worry about that for the time being, but we can definitely copy this top bit over. That's kind of important. If we put in the step event, we could just whack that straight into there. We do need to make sure we change a few things here, so instead of unit it should be enemy. We can just kind of copy that and swap it over. So this little I'm going to call it a short little series in the main RTS series. It's kind of the process that I go through when making an enemy. And yeah, it's not as simple as just straight from starting to, here's an enemy AI that's working. A lot of in-between steps go on. So I'm just going to be trying to show you guys the in-between steps and what actually happens. We are going to need NY and an X. I think that's everything. Oh, speed. I don't even know if speed's important. I don't really think it is, but we'll put it as 3 anyway because it is there. And count and total count are not important. So that's kind of like the really basic unit thing we've got going there. I'd say we just add one into the room and see what happens now. But we haven't done that with the others, so we'll keep it consistent. We'll go, I'm just going to move that there so it's nice and organised. In the controller, is it? Do we create a... Where do we create our players? I would have thought it was here, but maybe not. Maybe it's tile center instead. Okay, yeah, here. So instead of doing this, we're just gonna change this to maybe yeah, I've no clue how this is gonna pan out, but we'll just set that as that for the time being. I think we should mean that everything spawns on the same place, but we're just looking to have our enemy there at the moment. It won't actually do anything, but we just want to see if we can see it. Okay, we can see it. It's behind the player as default, I think. Yeah, okay. It's slightly not aligned as well, which is a little bit annoying, but it's there. Now let's try and make it move down continuously. Let's give that a go. So we'll just leave that for the time being. He's there. We can ignore that now. We can ignore this. We'll just go back to the basic enemy kind of thing. So we want to move down. So let's say if we are not at our new Y coordinates, let's move our new Y coordinates down 1. So to do this, we're going to say new Y equals, or plus equals, should we say. And here we kind of want to do tile height, I believe. So let's give that a go and see if that works. I'll talk through what we've actually done there in a second. You can see him moving down quite happily and entirely off the screen. So, you know, he's definitely got the movement, and he can move. So we'll do a little bit more random movement, I think, in a minute. Make it look a really dumb AI to start with. But anyway, what's actually happened there? So NY stands for new Y, so the coordinates that we want to move towards. Here we're saying if we are not already at those coordinates, then we need to move to those coordinates, right? So here we're saying if we are at those coordinates, we're going to add on to the new coordinates so that we're effectively always moving. So whenever we're not moving, we're adding on, so we then do move. So there's a little one step in between where it doesn't move, which is why it looked a little bit jumpy maybe. Yeah, there's a little gap there, not very noticeable at all. I mean that's all well and good. Let's just make it move once though. So to do this, we just don't put the else. We put this in the create event, just there. We're gonna delete this afterwards, so that's why. We also don't have tile height set up, so it's gonna be 22. Let's change that to 22. And now if we run that, it should just move once. Yeah, okay. And it has stopped in the middle of a... Okay, slightly off-centered because of how the tile center works. It's not quite in the middle. But you can see it's moved down one, and that's pretty nice. So yeah, let's make this AI a little bit cleverer, but not really, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So let's say here, if y equals new y and x equals new x. So if we have reached the coordinates that we're meant to be at, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to create a sort of random direction to go in. So we'll say var rand equals rand, we need irandom, it needs to be an integer, and let's just go with 4 directions for the time being. We'll ignore diagonals, so we'll go with 4, and now switch we can use switch random. So we've got 4 different scenarios here, 4 different cases. So case 0 being our first. What we're going to want to do in that case, well, we're going to want to move right, should we say? Why not? Okay, and break, because that's how these things work. By the way, if you didn't know, you can condense lines, so normally this would have to be like there, but because we've got a semicolon, it tells you that it's a separate line, so you can like speed up the whole thing a lot. Let's make it more efficient, not speed it up. So we'll have a couple more of these. This is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, and these are going to be ny, and this is going to be ny, and that one's going to be plus equals instead of... So basically we've got that's nx, and to the right that's nx, and to the left that's ny, and up this needs to be height. This is ny but down because it's plus, and that also needs to be height. So now if you run this, it'll be constantly moving, but it'll have like a... Yeah, it's moving randomly, okay? Technically this is as quick as the player, although it may be slightly quicker because it's not having to register key presses or anything. So you can see that it isn't great. It can walk off, and that's not ideal, so let's have a mess around with that. Right here at the bottom, let's say, so this is before any movement happened, because this is where we process the movement, this is where we actually do the movement. So in this kind of gap here, nothing's happened yet. So we can say if ny is less than 0, what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to set ny equal to maybe like Let's try tile height. Sorry about that. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Can't remember how it's laid out exactly, but we'll give this a go. We also need a couple more cases here. So if ny is greater than room height, ny equals room height minus tile height. This may whack the whole thing like kind of offset as well. I'm not really sure how it's going to work. But yeah, we can copy this again and use this for our nx. So just change every ny to nx to start with. And then change the height to width. Change height to width. Height to width. And finally height to width. Okay, and now if we run this, we should see that it won't go out of bounds, it won't go outside the room, but it may just look a little bit weird. Okay, it's not gone out yet. We're just kind of waiting to see, because it is random, so it should at some point walk out, but it's just waiting until that point. It is slightly offset, I think, as well. Yeah, it is. So it has, I think, tried to go outside. Yeah, there you go. So it is still inside the room, but it's a little bit buggy. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. I mean, it's moving randomly. It's not going outside the room, and it is an enemy, so it doesn't appear to be like confined as much to the gaps. Maybe we'll work on that in the next video. But it is really stupid AI as well. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't chase the player, and it is a little bit too fast for my liking. In fact, let's just really quickly just try and whack the speed down to like 1 and see what that actually does. Will that slow him down? That will slow him down quite considerably. Maybe let's change it to that. That's a pretty chilled out pace, I think. Yeah, we should probably add the diagonals in as well. At some point. But yeah, you can see now if he's chasing the player has a good chance of getting away because he's really slow. So anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there for this video. It's going on a little bit. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, or what do you guys want to do, and I will talk to you in the next one.